Live စပါပြီနော်
Would
like to welcome you from the Way of Thought program run organized by the People's Call team. Today, so we have the topic of resistance against the digital dictatorship, and my name is Htet, and I'll be the moderator for today's session. So digital technology, especially during the revolution of 2021 and 2022, it has been great support to the people that keep us out, that digital technologies help us keep in communication. We're able to reach out to others as well. And that we also, for example, like in the talk show, we are joining from different area, different parts of different parts of Myanmar, and we're also able to connect with the people around the world as well. So that's how digital technology has been useful to us. But on the other hand, military has been using this digital technologies to oppress us and to use it as a suppressive tool as well. So here we have we'll be discussing about this resistance against the digital dictatorship so that people can know about how this is being used as oppressive tool. So as speakers, we have Phyo. She is a digital activist from SS Now, and we also have invited Myint from Generation Wave, and we have also invited a CDM officer, Captain Capt from People's Call team as well. So I would like to first give the floor to Phyo, that you're an activist working and promoting digital rights for the people. Digital rights is a new terminology for the people of Myanmar. Can you explain to us what constitutes digital rights are, and how do you define digital dictatorship? That, like any other dictatorship, is it to how do they try to control and limit our digital rights or our digital freedom? So I would like to invite you to give a sort of like introduction to our today's talk show. Thank you for the introduction. I can't seem to switch on my video. Maybe I have to make the host.
Hello.
Hope you can all hear me and see me. Yes, we can see and hear you. Thank you. My name is Phyo, and I'm working at an organization called SS Now. Especially, it's an organization working on promoting digital rights. SS Now is a US-based organization, but I work especially for Myanmar, and then for leading the programs and our activities on promotion of digital rights. even before the revolution, I have been working consistently on the digital rights. As soon as the communication sector developed Myanmar, I have been working along with our civil society organizations for the promotion of digital rights. Today, we'll be talking about digital rights as well as digital dictatorship. And that so I will also be discussing, reflecting on what is happening on the ground and in Myanmar as well. And when we select this digital dictatorship, I said that there is a concern that when we say digital dictatorship, the people might not be very familiar with the term, that it might be a too new a concept. So we do have a concept, but if I were to discuss about it, digital Myanmar is under that Myanmar, we can see in Myanmar that there is a symbols and signs of digital dictatorship, and that Myanmar has been suffering a digital dictatorship. It's not the first time. It's not new, and it's also something not new in Myanmar context as well. And that whenever we talk about either digital rights or that other the digital dictatorship, and that in reality, these rights, the oppression or the limitations of our rights are not new to Myanmar, and it is something that people of Myanmar has suffered a lot for many years. So when you listen to me as talking, you will also see this is not new. This has been happening in Myanmar, but we can also learn about it where there can be more of an oppression as well as more of what we are seeing on the ground. That's what I will be focusing on. Firstly, I would like to explain what is digital dictatorship. It's not because people are not aware about it, just to refresh the memory that when we say digital dictatorship, is that digital dictatorship actually is that one of the many forms of oppression and suppression that people suffer under the dictatorship. Like right now, with the times of internet and internet connection, internet connectivity, that we have internet freedom, we have access to internet, that the dictators will try to control it and limit it from people having access to us. Another is that the dictators will stop us from using the tools, for digital tools or the technologies for democratic movement or the resistance against the dictatorship. They would try to limit the people from having access to digital tools and technologies, from speaking out or speaking up against the dictators, and that is also a way they can also control it. That's what we call this. These are also some of the activities we see as the limitations that we see under the digital dictatorship. It's not a special for dictatorship, but under the dictatorship, they would restrict our access to the digital technologies or tools, or that access, or that to be able to communicate with others. It is important for us to understand it and also to prepare for it in advance as well, before things get more limited as well. I would like to also explain a little about the background of it. When in Myanmar we started suffering from digital dictatorship? That most of the Generation Z might be too young for it. Maybe Generation Z can ask their parents that in the early 2000s, when we have started internet in Myanmar, it was also quite limited. Internet was not accessible to everybody. Internet was very expensive, and it also was not easy also to connect. Since that time, since the 2000s, there has been that those people who have gone through who have passed that 2000 who understand about it. If you have the website like Ayauri or Mizima, which cover about Myanmar, as well as all the organizations who support the democratic movement in Myanmar, and these websites are quite as now. So even at the time in around 2000, only about 1% of the population has as an internet. But even then, these 1% of the population will not have access to such websites. These websites are blocked as well from like LD or DVB or there, because so that Myanmar has been delayed in terms of progress as well, that in terms of oppression, and that Myanmar has never, that we have never ever, we are able to also to catch up on the delayed development as well, and that in the nation, and that there were also that we don't even have a Gmail. We have to use a web-based mail.
နော်ပိတ်တဲ့ခါကျတချို့ web based မေးဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ရက်ပိုင်းလောက်ပဲခံတယ်ပြီးရင်ခဏနေပြတ်သွားလို့ပြောင်းရပြန်
so that you know that even the web with a block, and you know, I'm sure some of you will remember, you can ask your parents or your past your elders, like even when the Gmail, you have to use your VPN. It's not that they have to use VPN to be able to have access to free web-based emails or Gmail. That was in the year 2000. That's how the access to internet has been difficult during under the military regime in Myanmar back in the day. You know, even when the internet started to develop, we have already encountered restrictions and limitations as to the access to internet as well. In 2007, there's on the 7/7 revolution, and some of the people will know about it because there has been a systematic internet shutdown as well. And at that time, internet is not accessible. Even then, the information flow has been shut down, and that also that we are also seeing that in many countries, in many parts of Myanmar, internet was also blocked off as well. After that, in the 2019, before the coup, that when there were also internet shutdowns and blackouts in Rakhine State and Pyae State as well. In other parts of Myanmar, that I would say that you know, in the other states and regions, there is we don't have that. We don't have those internet shutdowns and blackouts. We have seen that in Rakhine State and that Pyae State as well. And this is also these can be considered as a signs of the lack of digital autonomy or digital independence since 2000. That there has been always the limitations to access to internet. We are also seeing different forms of digital dictatorship, although we did not name it as such. It has already happened in Myanmar. They always have a practices. And here I would like to add the issue of digital rights. In 2013, the telecommunication law was enacted for the reform and the development of the telecommunication sector. Then we have like you know, international companies came in, like telecom operators coming, like Telenor and Ooredoo came to event, and so that the SIM cards, you know, before the SIM cards used to cost around $2,000 or $200. Now they are even less than a few dollars, and if you buy a data plan, that you can even get mobile data for free. So with the development in technology, we are also with the more access to the digital technology means accessible, social media become accessible as well, and that software application use also have increased as well. Since then, that we have started talking about, we have started to speak up about the digital rights. We cannot say that our voice has amplified, no, but our concern is that yes, digital technology is good. Along with the digital technology, our also concern is that that this technology should be for the good of the people. Should increase the rights of the people, like including the right to freedom of the expression, as well as other that digital rights should not be used to manipulate or hinder people from having access to internet, or try to block people from using anyway. So that's what we need to know, and we need to have a full digital rights like we have in the offline rights. There should also be online freedom of expression and online rights, so that it is important also to protect the people online rights as well. And this is something we have been consistently working on for the past 10 years. These are the rights we have been asking for the 10 years. And like, for example, like freedom of expression, everybody understand about the freedom of expression in the offline on the ground, that to be able to have a freedom of expression, and that you also need to have you know, that freedom of expression, of freedom of belief and opinions. In the same way, on the with the information technology, on the online, on the social media, to the internet connectivity, then there should be protection for people for have to have the freedom of expression. Like section 66E is something we have asked consistently to repeal that law as well. And that and also that I'm sure some of you also hear about the price of the data. Some of you understand, have some knowledge. Some of you have a very good knowledge about the mobile data. The mobile data that we use including like our date of birth or like basic personal data about the user, and there are also other important data as well. And before that, we have asked for this data to be kept safely, but now that we use data, we do on the mobile shopping, we do mobile application to pay for it. That's our banking data is online, available online as well, and that also that sometimes government will ask for certain forms, so we have to fill in the form for the visa application or any documentation. All these data needs to be processed carefully, safely, so that our personal privacy, that our personal data will be protected. It needs to be protected specifically, and so this is also something we have been asking for as part of the rights to as part of our claims to digital rights as well. I'll just like add to that is that digital rights is not a separate special rights. It's not a special right, and it's not a new right. And what we are saying that the rights we are merely expanding the rights we have, that people should have offline to the online as well. The rights that we ask for, the freedom of speech, the freedom of that expression, freedom of movement, all that freedom we enjoy as in person should also be extended to us, so that either whenever you do shopping online, or when you buy bank transaction, or when you apply for a job online, your data must also be protected, like your personal identity is protected. Then we need to also have the freedom of expression, that we also should be able to share the information clearly as well. And that is also what is important about the digital rights. So the government should be also taken into consideration to protect the people. And that's what we have been asking for as a digital right activist, pushing for the recognition and the protection of the people right. So just to share with you on the historical background on the movement for digital rights, and that where does it come from, as well as on what do we mean by digital dictatorship, and that this is not new, and the digital dictatorship is something we have faced a lot. We have faced a lot in 2021. However, that with the coup, that we are also seeing along with the military coup, we also call it the digital coup, because the day of the coup, what the military did was they blocked the internet, they shut down the telecommunication. So we have started saying that the coup in Myanmar, the military coup, is not just a physical coup that happened online, that happened offline, but the coup also is expanding to digital coup, because they are blocking access from people from having access to the internet, from the people from using their digital tools applications, because they will also use the digital technology to oppress the people, because this can make the situation worse, because that means that people don't have access to document, people don't have access to communicate with their families or loved ones. So that's why we have called this coup, this military coup. It's more than a physical coup, it's also a digital coup. For the past 18 months, we have consistently been pushing that we have been able to see the characteristic of the coup, and that but that is that we are also pushing for that as well. That before we talk about the, in addition, before we go into the details about what is happening on the ground, I would like to say something as well, that that the development of the internet is in Myanmar is that it's starting from the year 2000. So there has been a gradual shift, and that in 2013 there was an opening up of the digital landscape as well. But if you look compare it to other countries, in 2000, some of you will know around 2012-13 there was Arab Spring, that there was Arab Spring in the Arab countries, and then they use digital technology to be able to move their people, and that was quite strong indeed. And that's something that Arab Spring can go through. At that time, we have been looking at what is happening in Arab Spring. It has been we have been quite envious that they use technology to the revolution, and that's something incredible for us. So we hope that at the time in Myanmar, that Myanmar was under the military regime, so that when we look at that, when you look at the other countries using technology, that we feel that it was quite aspiring for us. Even as I know, looking from the other side, I know there were also a lot of analysis, and that as well, so research dealing with that as well, that we see that based on that, that's what happened in with the Arab Spring user technology as well. But in 2021, when the coup happened, so that after the Arab Spring, then we after the Arab Spring and the way for democratic movement, we are now in a way we have met yet again another military coup, and that people are suffering as well. And that the coup in Myanmar is compared to other coups is quite different, and that it's quite different in the sense that it's not because it's good, that because we also seen that there has been we were able to use the technology to resist against the dictatorship, but we are also facing even more restriction. We are also suffering also at the same time from a high level of digital coup along with the physical coup as well, and that they are using that oppression to crash down the people and then to push the people down using digital technology. So it's not to make us fear that the military is controlling the digital technology or the internet, but so that we'll be aware about it and be prepared for it. What we see in 2021 and 2022 is that along with the technology development, we're seeing that this is the first coup after the digital technology and the telecommunications. So what they did on the first day of the coup was that what they do is that they shut down the internet, and then they would ban and then block off the websites, and they only allow certain websites that they consider not dangerous. And also another thing they have been doing is that they have increased the rate of their mobile data more than 100%. In addition, what that they also do is like a Telenor, like even the entire telecom sector has been under the control of the military, so that they can get the shutdown. They can also use the intercept technology to listen into. So they are using digital surveillance systematically as well. What I'm saying is that the challenges we are facing in Myanmar is more than the oppression of the physical dictatorship. We are seeing a higher level of with a higher level of surveillance, higher level of intrusiveness in terms of digital. So that's what we are seeing in the next 6 months, that they will be also doing using more the digital technology to follow the people, to push back the resistance. And we need to be aware. We need to be aware of it and prepare for it also. So that's what I have to say in my introductory remarks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for a very detailed explanation and clarification, and that digital dictatorship is not new to Myanmar, and they have always been a form of digital dictatorship, and they have used the dictators have used different ways to oppress the people. We have seen internet shutdown, Rakhine State, and right now also we are seeing internet shutdown in different parts of Myanmar as well. So that when we talk about digital dictatorships, and that there can be different forms, and that it could worsen, the situation could deteriorate, and that they could also be using it to oppress the people, that the military control the internet connectivity. They also use it also to a way to spread propaganda as well. On this part, I would like to invite Siama Lilesu to share with us so can you introduce us about your organization, Generation Wave, and that on also that what are also I think that you have also done some research on the propaganda of the military. Can you also share with us briefly about what is the military propaganda tool using the internet, and as well as also to share research as well about the research as well. And that I think Phyo has talked about how important digital technology or the digital connectivity in the system is. And then here we would also like to talk about how the military is using their digital technology to spread their propaganda. We have been following that, we have been observing that, and we also have been documenting it as well, that just during the Spring Revolution, that even before that, with the strengthening of the digital technology, we are also seeing that there has been a lot of propaganda from not only from the newspapers, as well as on that and that as the different forms of print media they are using, that they're politicizing, and that information about that could provoke religious or communal conflict as well. So that has happened before. With the strengthening of the strength of the digital technology, that there is even more access to the social media and access to information, even then the military has been shutting down internet in ethnic areas to wage war, and they would create this propaganda, and they will also use the people, that they will also use the technology to arrest the people as such. So we have Generation Wave have been documenting the cases of for arrest, as well as on the digital surveillance, as well as how people has been detained as well. So we have been keeping we have been documenting as well. We also have issued reports as well during the Spring Revolution. Is in the same way how the military has been using social media to spread propaganda, and this is something we have been looking into, and we also have been keep documenting and then documenting as well. So I would like to share with you a short PowerPoint to talk about this.
So this
is this report is based on our observation of the propaganda by those military and those who support the military, and they use social media, Facebook as a medium to spread information as well. Next slide, please. So why are we observing the dissemination of propaganda? Because we want to understand the propaganda mechanism of the military hunter, and how we also want to know how the military is deceiving and lying, and and disseminating propaganda to the foot soldiers, as well as the idea also how we can help the soldiers have to join the CDM, as well as on those partner organizations who wants to leave the military, and then also to help them, so the foot soldiers understand about the propaganda, and that they will also join the people's side as well. We also want to support those organizations who are working on these topics as well. Can we skip this part? Yes. So when we say propaganda, that it is something that is also using some of the interesting information, and that it's either propaganda is creating information or facts, or that using that partial truth or the lies to be able to influence the people. So when you look at propaganda, that there are 3 types of propaganda to make it easier. So we call it that there's a propaganda can be in different ways, and that we call it in different colors, and that propaganda is can also have a true news, and then sometimes they can also mix in the fabricated news, and then you also have a fake news that is that we look at it in that is as well, that and that we would use as so that if you like, for example, like recently we also see it as well, like the military is donating rubies. Yes, it might be true as information, but whether that they are real rubies or not, people don't know about it, can know about it. They are putting right and wrong information as well. Another, what we are seeing, sometimes they will mix that true information and then fabricated information as well, and that they will say that yes, the fightings are happening, but we are winning as well, and that they will also use other ways also to do it. There's another way of spreading propaganda is using fake news, like for example, like that we see like gold bars in this party, or that also this what we call it by categorizing propaganda into 3 parts, and that using the way they have been used to manipulate as well. So when we look at the pages and the groups of that as well, that we are seeing that so if we look at it, we divided into the first group of giving some of the true information as spreading propaganda is white, and those of missing the true information and fabricated information as gray, and that fake news or that misinformation as black one. When we observe those Facebook groups, and that after the coup, they would disseminate a lot of fake news. And when we have democratic forces started to validate the news and that to counter them that these are fake news and these are not these are false news, and then they start to use these kind of category less, and then they started to using rather than using their fake news, they start to post about the true information as well, and that that is they were also to talk about this kind of information and say that they will say like the fighting is going on, the soldiers are being killed, and see that our soldiers are being killed as well, and that they would use it as well. That's also another way of this one. Another is so they also use misnews, where they will use some of the true information and the fabricated news as well. That so that these are some of the what we have said, some of the points we have observed based on the propaganda as well. What we see the most is that during the coup, they do a lot of disseminate propaganda about the information related to the military, and they also share a lot of information about the fighting, about the battles going on, and they also do a lot of the personal attack against individual as well. Sometimes they will attack certain people based on their ethnicity, based on the religion, and that they also will do that. They also do the act like informing. They also act like informants to the military as well. We can skip this one. So see some of the information that we have observed, that when they do that, those show in the red color are the negative, the fake news and the negative information that they are disseminate as well. And the blue is to talk about the good things as well. If you look at this here, you will see it very clearly that the highest red bar is a national unity government. The second is a PDF, and then there you have the supporters of the NUG and other supporters. They would be criticized, or they would disseminate the negative news about the negative propaganda against this entity as well. When it comes to when it comes to military hunter, SAC, and the Tamado, then they would only share. They would have focus on spreading constructive news or good news as well. For here, let me share with you a few posts as example. And this is a news. It's first post is about the fighting, and the way it's writing is just writing simply about the fighting took place at what time, which day, and that how many were and that they will say like how many were killed, as for that many of the soldiers were killed, and it's a way to rally in support for the military. Second is that the military is providing vegetables to the people as a way to contribution as well. So here you will see that this, if we look at these photos, it might be very, very funny, but for those people for that is very funny. But at the same time, when you are in a far away, and that is very far, and that it will also be for those who don't have much access to information, and they might think that they don't have access to it. They might think that is true and this is good, and they might believe it as well. And based on that, I would like to share with you a few examples, and that before during the coup, before the coup, there's prisoners who have been blocked inside the prison because of the first wave of the COVID-19 and second wave of the COVID-19 as well. When the coup happened, then when we the activists when we are doing a lot of rallying and demonstrations, and that so the prisoners hear about the people shouting at them. You know what the wardens will say? The wardens are saying that these people are boycotting against the government, and they hate the fact that they have the coup has happened, that the military has conducted a coup d'etat, and that so the prisoners will only know is that, oh, there are people who are boycotting the government, and then these boycotters have been arrested, and they will say that they are the criminal, those who are serving the sentence, and that don't talk to those people. They are bad people. You have to survey them, you have to oppress them, you have to physically be to fight against them. So when that our activists are arrested, and that as well, and that what they know is that they still think that those prisoners think that Aung San Suu Kyi is still in power. They still think the NLD government is power. So they think that we are demonstrating against the NLD government, a civilian government, and we are boycotting the NLD government, and they're not happy with us, and they make us a lot of problems. They always cause troubles, and that they would be a lot of causing a lot of we can see that they did a lot of bullying as well, because it's not just the wardens we have to face. We have the prisoner who don't have any access to information. They were doing that during the COVID-19, during the waves of the COVID-19, that so everything was shut down, and that as well, that so that the prison has been total shut down, and they don't have to hear about it. So they were only they only can watch like Myanmar TV and Nyawadi. So that's only the TV information they has access to. So here we can also see this what is in the news, and that often they if you look at those the fake news session in the Nyawadi and that Myanmar TV, and that we have to. So what we have to do is that when we get shut off from the real world, we have to know that the fake news part of the Myanmar to say that's what is happening outside, and that's how it is. It might look ridiculous, but if you don't have access to information, they might think this is true, and they don't know. So propaganda can be very dangerous, having a lot of impact on the people. And this is that the groups of people who are that the targeting as well, and that for example, like they will be the group of NUG members, NUG cabinet members, or those who are supporting them. They would attack them. They would try to discourage them as a group. They will also individually attack them as well. That they will attack them on being LGBTQI plus, and that they may begin for some personal information as well. And then the next second post we are sharing is that the informants will post about this, that there are like PDF in these areas, and to say that it should be checked. So we are also seeing that they're using social media as a way to keep for the informants to communicate as well. And that so this is also something that is visible, because even before that, at the progress of technologies, there has always been an oppression of freedom of thoughts and freedom of political ideologies. Here, if we look at it and say that if you look at it from religiously speaking, conceptually, if you are they're attacking, like saying that they are trying to destroy their military to conquer the country, so that they can conquer, so that our ethnicity will be lost, our religion is lost. So this is trying to provoke a communal and the religious conflict, and that the military always have used propaganda of the religion as well, and that by religion, or that so they always they always have there is a say, there's a proverb that military use, and that ethnicity, that the earthquake will not destroy the country, but when this thing is destroyed, that the country will be destroyed, and that the military is the savior, is the hero for us. So since since the very beginning, there has always been an expression used that military is the military is the father, military is the mother. So always to follow to be right to the military. At the same time, they spread propaganda to provoke people into blind faith and blindly following. And at the same time, they're also building allegiance and loyalty to the military, so that the military is a strong the strong economic actor as well. If you look at it, then you can see that they are also oppressing the people from having access to education. They will always use the expression that if you rely on the other countries, then you are a traitor to your nation, and the kind of saying is that as well. And that in addition, they would also use unjust laws and the regulations to arbitrarily and arrest and imprison people and from the charges to control them from speaking out or speaking up. during the Spring Revolution, we have seen the military once again using tools of propaganda to spread these that are politically inflamed that narrative, as well as religiously inflamed narrative. They were using the same tool of propaganda. They were called the resistance fighters as the insurgents or rebels, and that the rebels or terrorists, and that and also that those who are supporting diaspora from and also the supporters who support us and support the movement from around the world. They are calling them as that they are supporting the terrorists, that they are there in a way supporting the conflict as well. That what people need is that people, now that with the digital technology, people have access to information, and then also there are also, thanks to the different mechanisms also people will be able to be able to do that as well. That although that in terms of when it comes to the military or the civil servant as well, they have always been brainwashed. They have always been put into this ideology. For them, it's even harder. They're harder to join in that as well. So it is very hard for them to do, and that due to that and also after the coup, that we are also seeing that with the access to technology, we are seeing also new people come in and join the movement thanks to access to information as well. That's all I would like to share. Thank you very much. Thank you. Vanilla Sue sharing us about the propaganda thank you very much indeed. Now I would like to invite CDM officer Captain Pyae. Captain Pyae is joining us, joining the session for the very first time here. So Pyae, could you introduce yourself? And then I would also like to talk about this, especially when it comes to that. I would like to ask you the question about how does that how does the military control the digital platforms, and how they're doing the surveillance, and how are they also using using digital platforms to spread propaganda? Thank you. Firstly, I would like to say that since the coup, I would like to talk about what has been happening since the coup as well. That the day of the coup, and that there was information blackout, that all the mobile telecommunications and the connectivity, as well as on the the internet has been cut out as well, and also the news and that television and the radios also were shut off as well. After that, when there is started to so before they start with the so before the demonstrations have started, they don't control much of the social media. When people started to demonstrate strongly, there was a public movement. They started to use it as well. They use social media, and that they use because of when there has been more of a coverage about the Myanmar movement in the social media, they started to use it as well, and that so when we see that people are being killed, people are being assaulted, they started to control the social media platforms. Like for example, like they will block access to Facebook. That people also that are using VPN to have access to internet as well. So that what happened is, like, now they check when they at the security checks, they will check the mobile phones, and if you are using VPN, then those who use the VPN will be arrested or detained. So that's what is happening. These are in a way these propaganda steps and the surveillance of the digital media has increased dramatically. It seems as if, like, oh, this is happening, and for that is happening. No, actually it is a systematic approach as well, and that so there has been also that they also have have planned, prepare for it even before the coup, and that how they have been given and they have been given a close eye on it, and after the coup, they are even more strict about it as well. They have formed the surveillance web in every time based on the location, and then you will have like as well, like you have because regiments are placed everywhere, and they have those surveillance teams across Myanmar in different regiments, and then then we also have these specialized the groups who watch them, and then what they will do is they will always post that they will also share the special information about what is happening as well. So what they do is they will be checking on the news, what is happening around Myanmar, what is being posted, what is trendy, what is running viral, and then what they will do is that so not just them, that so they started to form not just with the soldiers, but they are also working with the people from outside as well. And that if they would somebody post something on their Facebook, and then if somebody post about it, and that it could be about donation, or it could be about running as well, and then they would start to look into it, who is that the account is, who does this account belong to. So they have a network, they have a strong network, and then that they also will they also are planning also to arrest the person, and that to control as well. That's what we're seeing as part of their preparation. And then so that in addition to the sharing platforms that they will also they started to limit also the distribution of information as well, that and then and also another possibility is that before that in that there are also like a lot of they would do it by the policy. There were some of the websites that by policy they will block them. How can they block them? Because internet communication, they control that they control all the key actors of the internet connectivity. So since they control them, that they were able to do whatever they want. In addition, that so what is happening on the ground about this revolution is that logistics support, those who provide logistics support, is that there is also the flow of money. There was also they also try to control it, because a lot of money flows through the online means. Also, they also are controlling that as well. That if they would also include the systems that will raise red flags if a certain amount of money has been distributed to others. And then they run checks against those who are using these accounts as well. So on the ground, those who are working on the ground are like when they use social media, and that you have to be aware of it, because they are checking, they are surveilling. So even when you are doing a live streaming, or when you are when you share information publicly, that makes you at risk, because they are surveilling. They have teams surveilling every piece of social media, so it's dangerous, and you have to be careful. Thank you, Pyae, for sharing it. I think a lot of people also want to know. So can I ask you a few questions? In addition, what we know about is that the military, so we know that that there are some, even the People's Go page, that they were formed they were formed fake accounts. Did they have a unit, special unit like that as well? Can you also talk about, does the military know that that the soldiers, the rank and file, know that the military is using it as a way to put their people? Does the soldiers also know about it? I would like to check with you that, do the people know the military using social media as well? the people have different beliefs, so it's maybe very different. Some know about it. A lot of people, I would say a lot of people know about it. We do this kind of talk show that they would have a fake account, they will use another name, sometimes they will ask questions, and they will be listening to you. I'm sure they are definitely listening, because before that, while we were there inside the military as well, whenever there is a people go, and then we will try to listen to them. We also look at also there's a group will be listening as well, and then in the next morning, then they have to prepare a report, and that report and say that, and they have to also propose a conclusion as well. They have the report has to be shared, and then they will also they look at it to see, okay, what can we do to do a counter propaganda. There are also specific organizations for that as well. A lot of people know about it, that most of the soldiers, if you're inside the military, you know about it, because you have these are the unit inside the military, because they are inside the military and they follow orders they have been asked to do, so they cannot stay without doing it. Also, they would do it, they will follow it, they will do what they will. Sometimes they will not do a right job, they will not do a good job, but they do this. In that case, I would like to ask you another question, and that the people might also be very interested as well, and that so what about the this surveillance mechanism that intercept technology, surveillance technology. They said that there was technology that was supported by Russia or by China. People say a lot about it as well. In the beginning of the coup, also we hear that also there were a lot of Chinese support also came in as well. That's so I would also like to know as well that military does have do you have specialists and that experts who are helping the military to be able to control as well. I don't know if they have it like that, but it also is difficult to say, because if you work in the communication, they will know about it. I think there would be so a lot of reserve forces have a technical, like they got support from the technical part as well, so that all the technology were bought from the other foreign countries, so they also are providing assistance as well, and that so that they would also cast for technology as well, and they might also be using it from the technology they get from other country, because these are technology they bought from the other country as well. Thank you for that. I would like to turn to other speakers before we come back to you as well. So here we have finished the first round of the resistance against the digital dictatorship. And if you have any particular questions, feel free to ask as well. We also have provided the link as well, and that if you want to ask questions, then you can also raise your hand. Then we will all go into the question and answer session after this as well. So that so in the second part, I would like to first summarize what we have discussed in the morning, and that what we discussed earlier in the session, and then go to the Q&A as well. So I would like to go back to Phyo. With the progress of technology, like people will say that that this digital technology has been very useful for that as well, and that some people also say that technology is good, but technology can also be bad. And what are the strengths and the weaknesses of the technology, and how much should we be more aware of and be careful when it comes to using technology? So can you and then you can summarize also your contribution. Thank you. Well, that after year 2000, when we study there are many researchers about this as well, like that often the dictators will use digital technology to oppress, and when they use that as a way to oppress the people, and that we are also seeing that they were able to control the counter movement of the public as well, that they were also able to control that. So that's what we have here as well. So we have to be firstly, we have to be aware about this danger as well, because for the entire revolution, like assistance from China, it could be a way as well that this Chinese government Chinese government is known for using very rigid digital control against the population, so that that in China there is no activism or no movement on the ground, because they were able to control very rigidly with the digital technology as well. Chinese government, among the other government, is like a dictator. They were that and that they seem to be in a way to be able to use the data from the they use the AI technology to do a very rigid form of surveillance as well, and that they would as well, that they have also been able to use the technology to oppress the people as well. Right now, that we are trying different ways to fight against the threat of the dictators, including the limitations of the digital oppression as well. In the future, with the internet and with using the internet technology, that the military could be pushing more on it as well. And it's not something we have to be not to be afraid of, but we have to be aware about it, because that will have that will have an impact on the that will have an impact revolution, and we need to have a think about and prepare for it as well. And that's what I would like to say first. And as you all know, like telecom company they have sold it out, and that since then, that when it comes to the telecom market, that like we say, like 80 to 90%, 90% the telecom is controlled by either by the military or that linked to the military companies which are linked to the military. Since the coup started, that military has been using asking for mobile phone records as well, and that whose data they're asking, or like how they're asking, we don't know yet. So that it has already been happening even before as well. What we understand right now is that the way Telenor has said that they have to sell the company, because the military, they say that they claim that the military is using the intercept technology, and that the military has ordered them to install intercept technology to intercept to keep it running. So they also give that as a reason for selling, and so that right now that when it comes to telephone communication and mobile phone communication, we know very clearly that they are being under surveillance, and the military too. That is based on the surveillance also the military, and that I think Gopi also mentioned in his part as well, and that as well, that doxing, you cannot undermine doxing. Doxing is identifying who this doxing is, identifying who the person is, like using the Telegram page, and also to share that this person is supporting that as well, and that they would find out the information, where they live, who they are, or what they do, and to arrest them. For women, they will say that they will do the sexual harassments as well, and they're using the terminology of sexual harassment, and that this is that there's something we have also seen it as well, and that they were doing it as if that they have received information from the public, and that it is part of the doxing that we are seeing as well, and that I think we also need to be aware about it as well, and that they could be using that they're using different ways to be able to put pressure and to put fear into the people as well. It is not in the offline space, and that that you can go to the offline demonstrations and do that, because of the restrictions on the offline, that people have to turn to that if whenever you support the movement, or when you support this as well, and that you are being you are being followed, you are being surveyed even on this well. Doxing is a danger to stop the people from supporting the movement as well, and these are the actions it is also important that we have measures to counter that, especially when it comes to that if you look at that, 90% of the operation, the telecom operation are now being under the control of the military, either military company or those related to the military, and they have the information in their hands. So that's the situation right now. So it is also important that we think about they're using that whatever the online space you have to negotiate each other, they are following that, and that they are also doxing to be able to follow these people. That it is important to find how we can mitigate these risks, and that not in addition to the risk the mitigating the risk, it is also important that we need to that we should make sure that we don't that the revolution does not lose a momentum, and we also think about finding a way to counter so that people can continue to support the movement as well. Right now, that we don't have independent internet, that that whatever happens, and that the way the military that is due is that we have to use military that we are using the telecom which are under the military. So it is important that we try to do as much as we can to protect to learn more about the digital partner, so that when it's not think about just easily to just make a call and I will just send a message and then I would that do that. So it is important to be more aware about it as well, that we need to understand more about the digital technology, and that there are also a lot of resources to a better knowledge to understand, not to make it call easily or just send a message. So it is also important to as well. This is something that is world need to know to make it systematic as well. That another is like the cases like doxy, identifying who people are or like this. I think it is also important that we also need to make sure the online space is not restricted. We also need to find a way how can we protect our technology as well, and that it is important that now that the government is also cannot also protect, it's also will also need to will need also to have protect the people from the doxing and other movement as well. Another important part is that there's something I would like to do is that we need to think about the mitigation. The mitigation is not that easy, and that that mitigation these days can be very dangerous. So that people are also going through very difficult times with it as well. So it is important to think about the digital security, so that people have a better understanding about the digital technology and what they can do as well. It is important that all the democratic forces need to talk together, work together for it as well. On the other hand, I think it is also important that it is also important the international organization also push pressure on that as well. And another point I would like to raise is that digital security issue that is happening, and that because of the challenges we are facing, the oppression under the digital dictatorship, it is important that we cannot think, you cannot think lightly about this. Oh, we can use a digital technology to demonstrate, and this more than that, and that we cannot just think about it positively. Oh, we can still have access to internet is good. No, it's more than that, because the oppression, it will be increasing. We increasingly dramatically will be also be worsening. So we have to be prepared about this. Right now, we are facing that we don't know how strong the military's control or the surveillance is. So that that in terms of our security, communication security is very important. Only then we'll be able to keep doing our work. So the digital security is as important as the physical security is, and we have to, each and every one of us must have some awareness about the digital security. And it is also important that we also follow the digital security, the rules that pertain to the digital security as well. Thank you. Thank you. So that I think that also give us share us also that information about we have to be aware about the digital security as well, and it is also important to think to also to spread awareness about that as well, and that it is also important to share the information. We also let that share the information digital security as well, and now digital security is important. On the other hand, it is also important that we have seem to be going through a digital technology issue. So please wait for us. I think we lost our moderator.
Okay, sorry,
Sorry about that. I lost connection for a while. So I would like to ask Manila Sue a question that the military has been poisoning the digital platforms and using digital platforms to that propaganda. So how do you want to do counter it? And also what should revolutionary forces and the pro-democratic forces know about this? Can you discuss this? Thank you. I think it has been that Ms. Emma has also shared about what should be done, what we should be prepared about it as well. She has already discussed quite a length what we should prepare for. So here I would like to say that using the technology so I would also like to talk about also what is happening and that what can we do and what could be done, because I would like to what we will need to do as well. I would like to discuss. So right now on the ground youth on the ground, whenever they are arrested, that sometimes they will have the mobile phones, and then they would have that these phones will be used by the military to identify the accounts, and that they will use these accounts in a way to follow others and to capture other so this is a challenge we are also facing on the ground in that in the Upper Myanmar area. So with the internet being shut down to ban down the villages, and that's also we are facing as well. And they are also creating battles, and that they are also killing civilians as well. And that especially that they would be military will be like torturing, and that retaliating against that people as well in the jungle, as in that so that in the areas where there is a fighting, we are seeing the military is also using airstrike as a superior force to fight against the events as well. In short, I would think it is important that for the tech we need to prepare for the technology, and we also need to understand that those who are joining the military or they are it is also important that we also need to do the in a way sort of like a counter propaganda. So we also want to resist the ideology of this military brainwash ideology, because youth are not prepared. They are not prepared, and they have that because of their sense of accountability, responsibility. We are joining the fight that we are prepared for, and that why they started fighting, and then also that the military that they use that they have used that the tear gas and so less on the smoke bombs, and that even the demonstrations that the people were resisting with nothing but water bottles and that helmets, and the people try the youth have even when they are being shot at you usually use the plastic shields to be able to protect themselves as well. And then military push the people into that unresourced, and that's why people have taken up arms to fight against the military. They came into the fight without being prepared as well. For those they are fighting on the ground. They are also learning it because that they are new to this as well. They are learning and they are fighting at the same time. That the youth are also they are so joining their strikes on the ground, and that they have also been arrested, and we need to look back on this, look back on what is happening as well, and that so this is happening right now. With all this happening, I think it is important that people that for the people who have been brainwashed by their military propaganda. So either there has been a lot of but there has been a propaganda, there was a gender discrimination, there was also the discrimination in terms of governance, as well there also the racial and religious discrimination, and they will use their propaganda to every time they would try to divide the people and then to conquer them as well. So that has something we have been facing. Now people know about it as well, that the propaganda, that the oppression and the torture and that treatment of the how bad the treatment of the military can be towards us. So they cannot lie to the people easily. They cannot cheat the people easily. That's what right now, based on our observation and monitoring, that we look at the military, we can only look at one side. As I think it is also important that we need to observe. No, we need also to look at also. We also need to find a way to counter their propaganda as well, because there is only one-sided propaganda as well. Then if they are sharing propaganda, and then we need to share the truth. We need to share what is happening. We need to talk about what are the human rights that the military is violating. It is important to raise awareness of people. It is also important to disseminate as well, because military only have though it is also important that we need to do the counter propaganda so that they know about what is happening. They know about what is right, what is wrong. We cannot leave them aside, because only then they will know this is not right, this is wrong, and this is not that. Then they will be able to stake up as well. Some people know that, ignore that. Some people know what are human rights, some people know what are equality, but for the interest alone, they might be also be working for us as well, and for them, one day that there will be, in terms of in the search for justice, that they will have to be that responsible for it. They will also be find out, that they will be held accountable for what they have committed as well. It doesn't matter, how how they oppress the people. I think it is also with the advance of technology, then they cannot lie the people that easily, and that is, and so they cannot lie easily the people easily, but at the same time, then the military and that others will also be using a set of propaganda as well, that on the one hand, they cannot, they cannot cheat or lie to the people, but they can also use the technology to even to confuse the people, to sway the people into their way of thinking as well. Those who are the local defense forces, those who are, that they could also create a further divide among the people and the local defense forces as well. They could retaliate. They will retaliate. They would target the villagers as a supporter supporting the local defense forces, and they could be raining, heavy artillery fire. They could be banning villages, and that as well. We could not, that it is also each and every, rather than each and every one of them, that I think it is important if we can fight them ideologically, so that they could also, they would join that, they would leave their military side, and then if they would join the people's side, that also means that mitigating their casualty as well. So it is important that that it doesn't matter how strong the military is for disseminating their propaganda, that it is important to have we need to have a counter narrative. We also need to do counter awareness raising. In addition to that, it is also important that we also that people know about what is happening. It is that they will not be able to continue lying to, and then this way that we also need to. So I think they could also be putting more propaganda. They could also more push as well, but we also need to be prepared for it. Prepare for it is not to attack them, but also to change their mind. As I said, that the way they think is that so that they will be able to join in. They were able to join the movement as well. So that's it's not about forgiving that what is being done, that it is not amnesty, and that what we are doing is that they will be held accountable for what they do, but we also need to prevent also from the further casualties or further damage or loss from happening. Thank you for sharing. Now I would like to invite Captain Gopi. I would like to ask you the questions in two parts. Firstly, that So the military is using a lot of oppression, and there is also a lot of surveillance as well. So for the people, and that for the people and the democratic forces and those who are supporting the revolution, what kind of security measures should they be aware of? That I would like to ask your recommendations for that. Secondly, is Sema Nilas to also talk about this as well, and that and also that because military propaganda is not just for the people. They also want to push against that hide the reality from that as well, and that so that the military is using not only the physical oppression but also the digital oppression. They are also separating dividing the military from the people as well. So there's some of those who will be probably listening to our talk show. So what will be, so for those who are inside the military, how can we what would the message would like to give to those who are still in the military to learn about it, the truth? As to the first point, that all the revolutionary forces, as well as, and that all the people and I would like to do that, especially if you are donating, or that if you're doing doing the logistics support, or that whenever you use internet, and you have to be careful that your privacy could be that try to make sure that you take all the measures to be safe as much as possible, that it is important to take all the measures so that you are secure as well, that you are digitally secure when you do your work, that you cannot make yourself because there are always surveillance going on, and that they can also be very dangerous as well, and that especially if you're so when the military, sometimes we often tend to think forget about the intelligence was what, because intelligence is that when it comes to that everybody knows about this one organization. They have we have an entire regiment. The entire regiment was I'm sure people know about it. The entire regiment was stopped. That is as well. That right now these get been we don't know for sure if they has been reactivated or not. That is also possible. That for a decade, these are in the previous military intelligence have been awful, and they have been dangerously they have been dangerous for that. They could be reactivated, they could be reestablished to do that as well, like that they what they like to do, they like to penetrate as well. They like to, and we have to be aware about that. We have to be careful, and that my message to the forces inside this, a lot of people know about it very well, because cyber is active. Cyber is, they are running the psychological warfare as well, and that sometimes they people know about it, but then because they are still keeping blindly believing in it. That could be one thing, and they could be blindly believing in the military. So they now also because if you know what is wrong, and that it is important to make the decision to join the side of the truth as well. Thank you, Kobe, for sharing as well. So now I would like to, we'll be going into the question and answer session. If you're in the Zoom session, and if you want to ask your question, then please raise your hand. If you are that you can also ask your questions through the comment answer. You can also join us in the Zoom and then ask us as well. So I do have a question that has been raised from the comment as well, and so I would like to ask that if it is do you have digital internet? There is a digital internet system that does not have that is not controlled by the military at all. That's like NUG Pay. What do you have there? I think it was I have already shared it as well, but that when it comes to the phone or the internet, the telecom operators or the internet service providers, most of them are that I would say like these are the companies are very much linked with the military, and the other companies are right now that until for the past year and a half, these other companies, they follow they don't respond to that, they don't reject what the orders of the military, they don't deny, they don't release information. So the other companies that are controlled by the militaries or the other internet service providers that are currently on the ground on the working in Myanmar, they are not in a way, they cannot be trusted, no, they cannot be relied upon. That's one thing. As for the how independent they are or not, so independent, so is there independent and safe internet there in Myanmar? We can say no, there isn't. But there are also other considerations that they can do, like community network, try to establish like community network, internet. That could also be a way for us to work, so that maybe in a church state, in community internet, or that's something we want to look at it, looking at the ground situation, and that we don't have total control of the area. So that is also not that easy right now as well. And that since the coup had happened, we also have been trying out different as well. They call it, they are also using like fire chat and others like fire, like they try like offline chat, but they also have strengths and the weaknesses that they don't have a lot of, that they have, there are sort of the limitations, and that you can only use it for this share messages in the same place as well. So that, without internet communication is not possible. But the other day with when the Ukraine, we also hearing some of the new points as well, and that Ukraine, they say that that they were able to do a lot of work, that Ukraine, and that they were also that. So they also say that that's what they say, that they're studying as well, and that so since the first year as well, that we also have asking what the Starlink has able to do. We also think about, can we also ask some assistance from Starlink for that as well. But on the other hand, that if you look at the Ukraine and Ukraine and Myanmar is quite different, because Ukraine has the Ukraine is an invasion of Russia, another country. But that in Myanmar case, they will say, well, there is also a government, and that there is an infrastructure, and that the infrastructure is in the hands of the government. They think Myanmar crisis they consider has like a the domestic. So this the fact that the so-called military is power who are also oppressing us as well, because all the telecom towers are under their control, like a Starlink or the satellite phones will not also be that they can also that they can also see immediately where the communication is going on. So it will not be safe. They cannot, it will be visible. So it's not as easy as that it's not as easy as in Ukraine as well. That right now we are also thinking that we are not excluding anything, but for people to have a secure internet, independent internet, how can we make that happen in Myanmar is still a challenge, and something that we are also working on with the local as well as on the international organization. We are talking about it, but right now and so far now, I don't want to give you a false positive hope, because it's not that easy either right now. That we don't really have like open clear answer about it as well, and that what we can do. And on the other hand, that the military is also like using, military is trying to create like a intranet, because they want to cut Myanmar from anyone for the connecting with anybody. So they also want to try to cut it as well, and that's something is also that we are also seeing more. It can also be getting more and more overrun as well. So that could be a challenge to have so that when we say like we need independent and free, independent and secure internet, that is desperately needed, but we don't have an answer yet. Okay, thank you. I don't think we have any other questions, but I do have a question. So I would like to ask Manila Sue. that if we don't, we will wrap up after this as well. During this discussion, and I was trying to put in, there are a lot of concerns that we have to be careful, and also sometimes as for average citizen, it will be hard to know that we are always that the digital space has been always under surveillance, and we have to be careful about, we have to be prudent about. So in addition to the youth, and then a lot of older people will also be worried about as well, and they're using the Facebook is military also is using Facebook as a way to imprison people as well, so that they are putting installing fear inside this world by discipline as well. So on the one hand, we had to be aware about the security. On the other hand, we also had to be careful. We also have to be aware about it as well, because of the military could also be using it. So how can we what can people do to be able to avoid these two extremes of absolute fear, as well as on trying to use the information technology as well, and that I think that Mawipimi also has shared about it as well, and that I think it is that what the military is trying to do. Military is trying to use propaganda to divide the people from the revolutionary forces as well, and since they want since the coup, the military claims that we are not that we are not it's not a coup, we are just merely providing, we're just stepping into the country, and then they started using different various forms of for violence as well for the people right now, that for the security in terms of security, and that people are now aware about it as well, like that getting rid of the data on their mobile phone. People already know about this as well, and and also that but we still need we still need also some technological knowledge as well, that if you delete the message, it still remains in your phone, and that it's not safe as well. This is something we need to know, not just for the people of Myanmar, those who are joining the revolution will also need to know about it as well, and that for when it comes to the digital security, it is important to know about how we can do, how the information can be shared safely and securely to others as well. And there are also those who are activists who have been arrested. If they got arrested, and then it is also important their accounts need to be it is important to shut down their accounts for the security reason. We have to do that as well. And there are those who are also helping right now to, if somebody got arrested, their accounts will be no stop as well, and that people, our people, in other words, our people are not ignorant. They have some experience in the revolution. They also experience in fighting as well, and that people are also even more that is aware about it. So that even now to provide a donation or assistance, or they know how they want to be safe as well, and that so like people also learn about that, things like UGP, and that it is important that that for them, the government also is making sure it is important to create safe channels so that people can continue to contribute to the revolution as well. Those who are joining the strikes, and that as well, and that's those who are also joining the revolution, as even if internet was shut down, and that people will need to be able to find ways to how do we connect with each other, how can we share information with each other. That's something we need to know. So this is something we have to be prepared for. Thank you. Thank you. I think that is so that does the speaker want to add anything before? I just want to forgot to at one point is that because right now what they are doing is that right now the military is that they are trying to control all their communication as well, and that and that as well. So they can be useful in controlling the telecom as well. And also on the other hand, they are also trying to reduce the people using the internet by raising the price of the data as well. Like they are pushing for the SIM card registration. They are also changing also the the laws as well. All these are heavy. All this they have done right now. Though another thing the military is thinking is, some of you also have might have heard about it as well, that they call it the phone IMEI or IMEI number, that the number of the phone, or they want to be the serial number. They are trying to get the register of it as well, and that these are the phone, the mobile phone. Some of the mobile phones are imported through the official channel, and that as well the phone is already registered somewhere. What the military want is that not just for the or that as well. They want to know who the handset is used by, using which they want to know. So they are working with the telecom companies to be able to see what are the SIM card register. They are even making the handsets to register. They want to make the handsets register. There's another way of tightening the surveillance as well. They can work with the telecom companies to force everyone to register, or they make sure they get the information, so that it's not just about the SIM card. Before we can change that, if we have some suspicion, that we can simply switch the handset, then we can get a new we can use the new SIM card with the handset. But when later on, if they were or if the AME number have to be registered, that it's no longer safe by changing the handset, that you will have to change it as well, and that it will be the important to do that as well, and that it will also be necessary, because they will be able to see which SIM cards has been used and which handset, and that when they get able to follow, they will be able to track and then trace and follow easily as well. So this is something we have to think about it. Also, we also need to know how we also need to, as a digital right activist, we are also working on how to we have started working on to how to raise awareness for the people. This is just one example that I want to share as well, and this is this has been this kind of tightening will be happening more in the future, because once they get the data, that the IMEI that you get, as you can see, that once you get the data, Capt was sharing that in the before, that they could be using their previous military regime. That rather than that, another thing we have to be worried about is that we have to be careful about is that there could be other as well. Before they were that so those who don't know the technology will have to go into the people do that. But if they have the data, if they got this information, they don't have to come to them. They don't have to come to the ground. They can use if they have a technology. They have the that they will be able to just sit and analyze the technology and get all the information as well. That's very dangerous, and that in this that they will know that who is doing it. They don't have to show any, and even if we don't show any face, who has the ideology is coming from, who is leading it, and where this person is located at, they can follow it. They don't even have to go and send they do that as well, and that so they don't even need human resource if they have the technology, and then if they have the expertise, then whoever they are, that is that they'll do them, that they can also identify and identify as well, and that so that also can be very dangerous as well. That so if we look at that and that so it is also important that that if you look at the research that is being done as well, that especially for the digital, in the using the digital tools, that you don't need a lot of manpower to follow as well, and that we know who they are, or that they can know easily, so they can easily just that they cannot go and make sure the people they will just if they will just track one or two people, and then they were able to reduce the momentum of the revolution. It's not to scare the people. I'm saying this. It is important that we are aware of what can happen. We also need to think about what can we do to counter that. That's why we have to think about it, and that so I'm asking a lot of questions, a lot of things we have to worry about. But when you ask me, do you have answers to that? We don't have the answers, and that's why we need to work because these are the issues we need to work on, because these are that we need we need to find ways to work with it as well, and that that when it comes to the digital coup, and Myanmar is suffering a lot from the digital dictatorship, and that we are in a way that is happening. It is, but however, international community or the international countries don't know about the issues that we have as well. So it is important that we need to inform that not only the international organization like Google or Microsoft, well, they also need to we don't get their support, we don't get their assistance, although people are suffering on the ground. These are the issues. Once we understand this issue, to be able to address this issue, then we need Myanmar alone cannot resolve this issue. I cannot address the issue. We need also the support, or we need international organizations or companies to work together with as well. And we also need to know how they can work with us as well. We need their assistance in trying to find solution as well. Like it is important that organizations like NUG or that that others will also need to work together to push for it as well. That if not, like a single activist talking about it, that some of these companies will not accept it. So NUG or that people of Myanmar will need to rally together, to work together, to talk about it. This is the other area we'll need to work together in the future. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I do have a hand raised, so just before the last point, so there is one person, so please go ahead, Erin. Thank you. So I would like to ask about this, about that intelligence. What I've heard about it, that intelligence they have like a white color and brown color intelligence, and that I've heard about it as well, and that also that they have different levels as well. That can you also talk about it? What are the levels of intelligence? Maybe Gopi can explain to us about it. So what are different colors to designing the as well, and who is what are their targets? How do they work on the ground? What I would like to know. Can you also share with us about different colors and levels of it? So maybe Gopi can share. Gopi can explain. Well, I don't know much about the intelligence about what, but levels that the level is not just for the intelligence. Is that so we call it like normal like investigation, and then what they will do is specialize. They have different categories. If the categories are dangerous, based on the danger for the intelligence, they set categories. That's how I understand it. Thank you. Ari, do you have a follow-up question? Thank you. No other questions. I just want to say that I was listening to Phyo, and that I was just thinking about this as well. That so thank you. That also is also give us a lot of information as well. So right now that there are also areas where internet is being shut off as well. So a lot of people don't have access to internet. More and more people don't have access to internet as well. But our that we still have a communication is in our hands. So that we in a way we can do that. But right now it is also to be something we had to be worried about as well. And I was listening and trying to think about what we can do, like so yes, resist that we do resistance against the digital dictatorship. How do we do that as well? I think so that I would like to know, like also like what can we do before resisting others. I think it is the first thing we need to know how we can make our digital use safe. I think to make sure that we take the measures to be we are digitally safe, that they were important. Like the Myint has said before, I think it is important that we need to find solutions together. That's all I would like to say. Thank you. Thank you, Ari, for the discussion. it is true that digital technology can be can be challenging because it's very broad, and also the military also control a lot as well. So, do you want to answer to the question? Yes, I just want to add one point yes, we say that revolt resistance against the digital dictatorship, and we also were concerned that people might might not understood it very well. Yet yes, there are a lot of things that people don't know about it. There are things that people need to be aware about it as well. But what we need to know is the more a little more we understand, then we'll be able to find solutions. We'll be able to think solutions together as well. Yes, they trace our mobile phones, they trace our communication as well. Just want to say one more point is that before COVID as well, like we use a lot of you will use a backend keyboard, as you will see that as you an organization. I will not put the name here, and so that the backend keyboard company reach out to us and say that at the time we're working, there was also information issue of we are working on the misinformation of the backend keyboard. The backend keyboard actually has backend keyboard said they can search for the keywords for the whatever people type. They are recording all the information that we are using. Like if they say that at the time we're saying like certain herbs or certain leaves are good for the COVID, there were a lot of misinformation and they will know immediately. So that means that this one they can also get, if you're using backend keyboard, they can capture any information. They are saving them, they are analyzing that, they say which person is typing, how many words are, which words are typed about the when it comes to the COVID information, like a misinformation and all that, how they are being spread out. They are monitoring about it. So that really has shocked me. Immediately I have to tell the UN that this is not possible and this is something you cannot do, because this is very. That was before the coup. That I just want to share with you. That's the technology. That's just one example as well, and that is also that. And that there are a lot of things that we might not be aware of, and they could also, if you understand now about the danger, then when you reach out to organization, then what kind of water do we have to use it, and then we also need to think about that as well. And that for the phone, and that instead of using the mobile phone, instead of using calling somebody or sending SMS, it is important to use secure communication as well. It's not easy. I think it's not convenient. Like for security and convenience, often that if you make it easier to use is for security, it's not easy. That you have to take travel, you have to take the problem. I understand it about it on the ground. Sometimes it's not easy, and that digital one is a digital security. That there are things that you cannot do or you cannot do, and also it is important to understand the risk. If you understand the risk and the problems, then you will also know that how can we you also need to think about what will be the levels of security measure you made for the communication. You need to set some guidelines, some mechanism. Every organization should have the different levels of security. That as well. There are also those who can also help. There are also organizations who can help with the digital security. That's also I would like to share. So most of the people also know about it as well. Some who also have mentioned in her part as well, and that when it comes to digital security or for your secure communication, how can you build a secure communication? The kind of, if you want advice, I'm going to do, and this is the one military issue, but it is also as important as the military issue. So please also take that into consideration for if you are in the revolutionary force as well. And as for the people, and it is also important not to share your data. Is the bank the bank is the online shop, so giving your information can be dangerous as well. That that because they sell you a strawberry, and that so that you give your online information, and that you have to be careful about this. So what information you are sharing to those people, because these information that each and every one of us, what we do is that it's also that can also strengthen the digital resistance as well. These are there are small measures that we can do as well. Another is online space. Online space is that important that when we it is also important to online is a space where we need to able to use it to organize strikes and to organize stuff as well, so that when you do blog profile and then that is that some people I will say that some people will block the profile and people will laugh at you and say that, oh, you're afraid of that, but that to be able to speak freely, you need to have a space. You also need to make sure that as well blog profile is something we recommend for digital security as well. It's not about the being brave or the courage or not. It is also to make sure that we can continue to speak as much as we can, and then also to able also to protect ourselves also from it as well. So it is also important to think that as well. So some of the organizations that work with so we have a Spring Revolution Security is a page you can also follow as well. Thank you. Thank you, Mohim. Thank you for sharing. So we'll be wrapping up today's talk show program. Can I still ask one more question to Phyo? Yes, please keep it short. Thank you, Phyo, for sharing. And you said that about the online base. You talk about the digital rights, the online base about it as well. That for example, like for those who are working on the ground, what we see is that working on the ground is some of the area we don't have online, we don't have internet connectivity, and that there are many areas in Myanmar who don't have people do not have access to online as well. So how can we communicate with each other without internet as well? And then more and more areas do not have access to internet. Then that so that when if your people are in areas where they don't have access to online, then how can we that if you are in an area where you don't have internet access, then the mobile phone telecommunication is necessary, and we don't have any other option to contact each other. You only have that as well, that you have no choice but to use the cellular network as well. In that case, then what are the measures that they should take as well? I think you said that a lot of advice, recommendations you are giving us is about the online. So what will be your recommendation for the mobile phone? Thank you for asking, because the phone itself is not secure. So that what we would suggest is that if possible, then we don't have a full comprehensive recommendation, but we understand that on a certain situation you have no choice but to use the phone, and there's sometimes that the phone like in some areas only that you can only use MBT and Myint, and that's the situation on the ground. So please limit your phone usage to the only one is important, or that it was that, and also to use also to change that as well, that don't call from where you are and then change to another place, and that calling from a different place will be important as well, will be useful as well for security reason. It is not 100% safe, but at least that also give you that you'll be able to you might be able to do as well, that so that they will not know where you are right now as well, and that in reality that is not, and then you can also use that is encrypted was. So some of the advice also suggests about using that encryption, or that was that I'm not a digital security expert, so that I think we can also check with the digital security experts as well, especially for the areas where they don't have internet, and then you have no choice but to use the internet. Then what will be the do's and don'ts of it as well, and that to also to share it broadly with the people as well. What they will say, they use code words, and that code words to communicate with each other and not to talk directly, and as well, and that it's also to limit the mobile phones as much as possible. These are the common recommendations that come from the digital security experts. Thank you, Shema. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for asking. So I think that we have talked about the digital security, and that we talk about the military using the technology to browse other people, and it is not to for people to be fearful of it, but to also to know what we can, and that so that we have knowledge about the digital part, and that also we also need to continue learning about the digital technology as well, and that it is important to we also that it is also important to think together. It is it's also important to work hard together as well, and that I would like to thank all the our audience and then the speakers. Thank you very much, and then also for joining us this session. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.
Pyae ne pwe ma asong that the kushi me malong da dwe ne te cha song phet ba the coup do yue ya me among me lin dai pwe ma ja so ra shi bu ti ja re pek ka ne sin ne ba me do yes when I rebel out Jesus now so not linga the night as nearby young chide the nephew the wind over each other. She may alone that we net the chance of Japa the Kuro Juya me among the lint type wema ja so da shibu the jare pet is in the me Mount yes no I rebel out Jesus no so not ling other night as a nearby young chide when let him away over the yare back on his in the rame Mount yes when I rebel out Jesus
Oh, alo, Jesu tomare video ba bi.
Okay, Jesu ba khana.
Okay, Jesu ba no.
Jesu tomare shin. Thế bàညီမကြီးအဲ့ဆိုရင်Zoom ကိုပိတ်လိုက်ပါတော့မယ်နော်
ဟုတ်ကဲ့